I'm Julianne Becker, and this is one of my first creator dragons called Arthur. I want to talk today. I set him that you can look at him. Okay. A bit difficult. Oh, now. Okay, so now we are arranged. What dragons want to tell you when they show up on your inner journey, they tell you learn to create consciously, to liberately create your way through time and space. Dragons are co-creators, not creators or God, but they create together with Source. They are the power behind the elements, fire, water, air, and earth. With their appearance, they want to draw your attention to the fact that the time of your complete transformation is now beginning for you. You are ready, at least if you choose it that way now. A change in which you go into your full strength, your full potential becomes accessible, and you learn to create more and more clearly, lovingly, sustainably, and effectively. You are no longer the small, naive, frightened sheep who hides or ducks away and otherwise follows the herding dogs and the good shepherd who knows everything better and may then turn out to be a pedophile. You don't just parrot the mainstream anymore. You think for yourself. It is actually enough that you stand up in your place in the herd and stand by yourself and say, I now claim my full power, all my energy, and my full potential to create a better world for the good of us all. This declaration of intent, and that you really stand behind it, can work wonders. This will wake your dragon that sleeps inside your pile of stuff, on your pile of stuff and guards your access to Source. He then clears the way for much more vitality. In my self-help book, My Dragon Likes to Eat Pizza, only available in German, you can find out why you should wake your dragon carefully and how you can do it skillfully and quickly. Here and today I am more concerned with general information so that you understand the connections better. It is actually the greatest discovery of our time that we are co-creators, and not just because we bake bread or build cars. The real art of creating lies in influencing probabilities. It is a clear consequence of quantum physics, which says that the observer always significantly influences the experiment. Our physicists have known this for decades, but then why don't they train us? It seems to me as if all beings are co-creators per se, only through their being alive. All humans create their own experience. They project it into the future. Each one only to a tiny little extent. That's why I call us co-creators. We create together. What the world needs most now are as many deliberate, creating, conscious co-creators as possible, who create more and more clearly, lovingly, sustainably, and effectively. The power to do this, some also speak of light or love instead, comes from the source of this creation, which unconditionally pours its life force into its creation. Each individual participant of creation carries a lens through which his own life force obtained from Source flows into the world. This lens is more or less tarnished by stuff. I'll get to that in a moment. If we imagine this life force as light, as we experience it from our sun, then we ourselves are the lens through which our force flows into the world. So, as I said, our lens is more or less clouded by stuff. With this light, we project experiences onto an outer screen, and that is the reality that we experience as 3D reality. A world of length times width times height and possible time. I call it 3D. Each of us has a special form or life force, light and love, and is therefore an individual facet of Source. When we perceive the life force of another person, we register the degree to which dose and quality this received life force flows through him or her into the world. We then say, "You are shining so bright, you are probably very well," or "Man, you look miserable." I call the highest and clearest vital force or vibration that a person can hold without emotional or mental or material doping, all by him or herself, his or her own natural vibration. I call doping everything that supplies certain vibrations and moods, which is interchangeable, from the outside and stimulates or pushes away your own vibration. Movies, music, inspiring books, conversations, admirations, followers are proven means for mental and emotional doping. Coffee and alcohol are part of material doping. On your own natural vibration, only your own natural vibration is effective in your own life. Otherwise, you will feed the lives of others with your life force. Your natural vibration determines the assertiveness and the enforcement speed of your intentions, i.e., how successfully you can create and possibly already do it consciously. There is, so to speak, a cosmic eBay on the creation laptop of Source, and everyone is involved in supply and demand. However, goods are not auctioned for money, but matching experiences. It is the cosmic eBay of possibilities as I see it. All the wishes and programs of all co-creators meet in this cosmic eBay. For example, unconsciously, one absolutely wants to be convinced that he could become a victim. There, because he believes that. There on cosmic eBay, he meets an ideal perpetrator who definitely wants to act out something instead, instead of clarifying his own stuff, he wants to act it out. And whoosh, they two found each other. The raid is created perfectly. The spiritual people say, "This is karma." As a post-spiritual, I say, it's just a business. Supply and demand have been found. The purchase was perfect. Your own natural vibration as a factor for assertiveness and speed in this cosmic eBay of experience now ensures that the deal comes the faster, the higher the natural vibration of those involved is. Strong high vibration is like a comfort advert on eBay, a highlighted sponsored offer. Another factor in creating is focus. If you can calm your mind down through concentration and concentrate your attention is vitality in action, like a laser, you will also create with laser precision. In contrast to the old incandescent lamp, which scattered most of the energy and lost it on all sides, a laser can even cut and do surgery. Or to give another example, taking a burning glass through which you can even ignite paper with bundled light. Of course, you have to train this focus of your life force like every muscle. You have to train. Meditation is ideal for this, no matter of which direction, which metaphysical origin and instructions you follow. Just do it. Then you should also know that a higher natural vibration can delete and override the fields and contents, i.e. the stuff of others. It can intercept this creation on an energetic level, empty it and override it with its own content. And that, to know, could be the solution for our mess in the world. So, go on, learn. I call people who do this unconsciously or consciously absorber, because they use it to clean the other person's stuff, mostly unconsciously and unpaid. With absorbers, you feel comfortable and in the mood. They take your stuff away. To be with an absorber makes happy and almost automatically ensures the mood and well-being of others. Only for the absorber itself, it feels different. Its clarity and vibration level become a problem, which he or she can only solve by opening up even more to the very large observer, i.e. the earth or source itself, and simply allowing the recorded stuff to continue to flow through, or otherwise deleting the stuff consciously. So, absorbers are attracted to spiritual topics that help them, because it makes them sick, heavy, and depressed to take in other people's stuff. A lower natural vibration can sometimes overlay and drown a higher vibration of the absorber. It can make life very difficult for him. The absorber feels confused and depressed by cleaning, but after 3 days at the latest it will go away again, because he cleans himself. Judgments and chaotic, disorderly energies from his environment make his life even more difficult. Emotional and mental attacks can also cause severe nausea, vomiting, and all kinds of other serious symptoms. In addition to the absorber as a type, there is also the emitter, which keeps him or herself mentally stable and healthy by constantly throwing all his or her stuff outside. Emitters constantly scold and complain and judge. Their accusations are nothing but constant eruptions of stuff. They are the spoil sports in the system and only come into their power as a co-creator when there is no one left to absorb their stuff and digest it for them. They not only make the others around them sick, now that they feel better because they threw their stuff outside, they now know even better what the others, mainly absorbers, did wrong, who are now feeling so bad from this emitter's stuff. The emitter acts like the herding dog in the flock of sheep. He also bites your leg when it doesn't go his head. That only stops when the sheep stand up and assert themselves and finally accept their responsibility as co-creators, because sheep can manipulate quite secretly and for a long time without noticing that they can co-create. Generate your intentions in a state of your highest natural vibration, because it is easiest for you to recognize this vibration as your own. Your intention is immediately published on the cosmic eBay. Each of your ads there, including the unconscious ones, sends impulses when you can take the next step. That brings you the desired experience. All of your ads continuously send impulses, just like normal eBay sends you emails when something is going on or not going on about your ads. You can recognize your own natural highest vibration from the energy signature, i.e. how you felt when you formulated the intention. And as a precaution, just follow these recognized impulses immediately and without thinking. They are only to be understood from the future, so don't try with your current consciousness. On the other hand, carefully consider other impulses from which you are constantly overrun. Use the wonderful tool of your mind. The fact that I myself have followed too many rather nonsensical impulses without them being in my highest good has led me to many dead ends that I would like to spare you. The difference between highest intentions and everyday intentions is big. One ad is about selling your $1 million villa, and you shouldn't make a mistake here. And in the other case, it's about the sale of your used lawnmower. If you miscalculate here you can cope more easily. Simply by energetically checking your impulse feelings, you will gradually pull yourself out of the swamp of your own unconscious stuff, which is constantly placing ads on the cosmic eBay itself. For a long time, unfortunately, I myself considered my impulses to be divine guidance or suggestions from my higher self, which I now simply see as a built-in mechanism with which our holographic reality works. So it makes sense to follow these highest impulses loaded with your highest own vibration, especially if you have generated them for your highest best and for the benefit of all. Therefore, You have to be able to focus your intentions and recognize the vibration in them. You must train to feel it. This is your built-in navigation system, which you should finally learn to use, because it could be that we are going through difficult times and you can rely on nothing else. You also don't sit at home in front of your navigation system and hope and pray and wait for aliens or angels to come to save you. You follow the instructions of your navigation system towards your destination. Please understand the difference. Nobody will save you. This is a driving school and you have to learn to follow your navigation system. I will also make detailed individual clips on all important factors. This is the overall view. Because, like building a house does not mean to create. No, that's wrong translate. Because when I want to build a house, I make the plan. I imagine the house with the highest natural vibration. And it doesn't make ding and it stands in front of me like a fairy gave it to me. No, it is a lengthy process in which I repeatedly find and formulate new intentions. How this house should be, energetical, practical, size, rooms, uses, etc. With whom I want to use it, how I want to feel in it, and also what the development towards it is. That's the development towards it is easy, simple, brisk with synchronicity, quick and joyful. I design that. And that is the add-on, the cosmic eBay. Then I wait for the first impulses that feel like I will feel in the house, in my best vibration. Perhaps the impulse comes, look on a real estate scout in the internet, and I search and there is already my house ready to buy, maybe even cheaper than I thought. Or I happen to get to know an architect privately, or what else. There are immense diverse possibilities, and then I step through, step by step, from impulse to impulse. Hermann Hesse, a famous author, described this very well in his book Siddhartha. When Siddhartha reached the condition of the ferryman, quote, Siddhartha's intentions were as clear and certain as a stone falling through the water. It was inevitable to reach his aim. A large project like a house involves other people and many individual steps. To practice creating, deliberate creation on it is unsuitable, far too complicated. So start with the parking lot. Make it your highest intention that you always find an ideal parking space if you want to go somewhere by car. Believe it. Don't be impressed by how unlikely that is. And now wait for the impulse to go out or make detours or turn into this or that road. Observe and learn. Your existence is in no way mysterious, at least at this point in holistic reality, no more than a lightning flash. Once you understand electricity and live with a lightning rod on the roof, you no longer have to hope and pray. Your consciousness gives direction, together with your unconscious stuff, of course. For example, I want to do everything for climate protection, or I want to move more. You might ask, why doesn't that happen immediately? Well, the various programs from before are still running and the lens is also heavily tarnished by your stuff. There is mental stuff, like concepts of reality, religious or scientific ideas, conspiracy theories, personal experiences, up to unconscious programming from childhood, like you are stupid or from another life it comes. Then there is all the emotional stuff like injuries, emotional charges, not letting go, suffering or being in love. That too does something with your lens. And you already know the material stuff. There is a lot to talk about it. Drugs, coffee, alcohol, sugar. And all of this stuff colors our lenses. It ensures that we can only create within these limits that we set ourselves with all that stuff. You could even call it a matrix. A matrix, of course, a homemade one. I like to take that take an example from the belief in Santa Claus. If you are convinced that Santa, and only he, answers your prayers and fulfills your wishes, then you have to pray for 364 days and hope that it really happens on Christmas. Well, and you always stay addicted to Santa Claus, and you never realize that at some point you let yourself be persuaded of all these restrictions, or you even impose them on yourself. You never get free and deliberate co-create. So, and how do you get there? The fastest way to dig up the clear, good, loving, sustainable and effective co-creator in you. That is what the dragon came from. Remember, first of all, heart opening, very far opening. This is the door to your full power of life force, to your most effective creative power. And don't we all want to access it in us? How often have I heard young people say, I want to do something creative and create something. Then increase your own natural vibration. If you were a captive balloon, you could say that you get buoyancy for your balloon because you throw off your sandbags or empty them completely. You don't need an absorber neighbor for this. You can do this alone. Get rid of your stuff and heighten your vibration. There are a lot of wonderful trainings around, and you can use attunements. You can use a lot of things. I will do a special about that too. Okay, and then no longer allow other people and surroundings to roar or overlay your beautiful higher vibration, which of course entails a certain conscious handling of places and people. Perhaps you will even completely refrain from contacting emitters. They simply shoot your aura too often. Anything that makes you brighter, lighter, clearer and happier is good. Is very good. Now take care of your contaminated sides, your stuff, your lens. Actually, most people are mental, emotional and astral messes. Maybe you too. I was. Well, they don't know better. Look what lies around and tarnish your lens. No wonder if you don't like your creation's experiences yet. Nobody wants to live in such a mess. Get rid of that stuff. Often these are just devotional items that bind you to the past, like records, pictures, films. You call it experiences and divide them into beautiful and terrible. You'd rather forget about the mediocre. Did you notice? If you really like your life and the world around you, you should of course continue to collect and worship these things. If not, here's a tip. Every experience only wants to be looked at once. Every detail completely and carried out and understood and felt through. Then it deletes itself. If it has not done that yet, it is because you keep interrupting the current film to whine or rave about. With this, you inflate the feelings and then you reinforce them even more by entertaining others with telling them. Your film itself, your experience, doesn't get any better from this. Only you won't get rid of it that way either. And I assume that you don't really want that. You just want to dope yourself with the attention of others, with their life force. That's why you tell them. Once again, every experience from your memory wants to pass your entire intention undisturbed, then it deletes itself. Unless you get all the film snippets out of the garbage and show them to your friends again. With this, you tell your life force lens that you want more of it if you do that with the garbage. It's a good thing that cloudy lenses have little assertiveness and probably never realize that they themselves are the originators of all their problems. Because this means that the stuff as a whole does not have as much power to mess up their lives. And they would probably only experience the consequences of their creation in another life, or at least in 2 or 3 years when they can no longer make the connection themselves between it. For those co-creators who increase their own natural vibration, clear their lenses, empty their minds, keep their inner heart connection wide open and with clear focus, there is even the potential to create instantly. You think something and it takes effect immediately. No judgment is also an essential point of co-creating, but this video about creating is just too long if I also go into this. All of the spiritual, metaphysical and religious traditions and teachings that want to liberate their students and lead them to a state of supreme vibration have highlighted and trained some of these factors. There is something of this in every tradition. I looked for these factors everywhere and tried them all out in practice without following the respective doctrine at the same time. That's just not my nature. I was concerned with the rule behind it, the essence, because as a math teacher, I believe that there is a natural explanation for everything, just like with the lightning flash. Thor, the god of thunder, is history. No child believes in him anymore. But this video is also about the symbolism of the dragon. When the dragon appears in your life, it reminds you that this door to conscious, deliberate creation is now wide open. Congratulations! You have now achieved a height of your own natural vibration to enter your mastery. But be also reminded, only practice makes perfect, and no master has yet fallen from the heavens. For example, I see myself as a master who still has to practice a lot to be a master. Let's go! You can now simply leave the pasture with the sheep, the dogs, and the good shepherd in an upright position. You will no longer look like a sheep or bleed with the herd. You don't have to be spiritual, religious, or an atheist to do that. Just be yourself. Stay more and more authentic, even if the circumstances suggest otherwise. No thanks, I don't like this cake. Being polite and nice often contradicts being authentic. You will see that it is an art to remain yourself. Be Yourself and Change the World is a book by Dane Heer that I highly recommend. I'm Julianne Becker, and that is also the name of my website with a .de behind it. I am a felt artist, author and coach. I give Beyond Quantum Healing sessions online in English and German. You can also find me in the Quantum Healers directory. Take care, and some greets from my dragon. Bye bye.